Questioning ourselves, our world, and our reality may seem like the actions of someone with too much time on their hands. But the truth is, philosophical thinking has led to some of the most revolutionary concepts and some of the biggest scientific advances in human history. Philosophy is not some mumbo-jumbo attempt to explain away the unexplainable. It is a genuine field of inquiry which is crucial for the development of the human race. So let's see if we can't push things along a little quicker, shall we, as we explore the 5 most thought-provoking philosophical questions. Number 5. What is the meaning of life? Is this question even relevant? Are we capable of exploring such a profound thought when we don't understand what it is asking? The idea of a meaning is pretty vague. Is a meaning equivalent to a purpose? If so, the purpose of one thing can be different between different people. An axe's purpose is to chop wood, if you're a lumberjack. But for a serial killer, its purpose is to chop people. So is the meaning of your life defined by others? Or is it your own internal purpose, which only you can ever truly know? If meaning and purpose are not equivalent, then meaning is something more spiritual, a deep intrinsic significance unique to conscious, aware beings. But is this limited to advanced consciousness? What about my puppy Professor Steve Jungle Guts III? Does his life have meaning? Or are humans the only beings worthy of deriving meaning from their lives? And if so, will we develop a more profound meaning as we develop a higher form of consciousness? This leads us on to the definition of life. When we ask for its meaning, are we referring to everything from microbial life all the way to humans and beyond? If so, this is also pretty difficult, since science is unable to define exactly what life is. There are a few hard and fast rules, of course, but these are frequently rewritten when a new life form comes along to challenge our accepted definitions. The truth is, we don't know the meaning of the word meaning, and we don't know the meaning of the word life. And until we do, the question cannot be answered. Number 4. Who are you? What defines who I am as a person? Am I just the sum total of my behaviors, loosely identified as some kind of personality? Well, if so, then who you are is just the chemical processes which cause these behaviors in response to your animalistic needs. You might be an angry person due to your heightened sense of fear, which harks back to the days we lived in a more hostile environment. You might be a bit of a joker, but then again, this need to make others laugh could be related to your desire for dominance or to release aggressive tension. Every human behavior has a root cause based on our requirements as biological beings. When you add these up, they account for most of what we call a personality. But we know that these behaviors can be changed. We know chemicals can be introduced to a human being to make them act in entirely the opposite way, both permanently and temporarily. So if the human personality can be so fundamentally altered, does the idea of you even exist at all? Number 3. What is the truth? Another temporary and disposable concept is that of truth. In recent years, fake news has passed into our lexicon as a way of describing something reported as true, but which is in fact fake. However, some people use this term to dismiss truths they simply do not like. But while some people would say that certain facts are provable, it can also be said that the only truth you will ever know is the truth you experience yourself. Look at a hot-button issue like global warming. For most of us, our knowledge on the subject is acquired secondhand. Unless you're a scientist, geologist, or some other kind of relevant ist, your education has been derived from the interpretation of evidence by others. The acquisition of knowledge requires trust. You trust the person who passed on this knowledge to not have deceived you. And this goes for both sides of every argument you could ever imagine. But is trust enough for anyone to define anything as definite truth? In a world where no one is truly objective, can you honestly be comfortable in giving yourself over entirely to someone else's viewpoint? Even science doesn't deal in truths. Science deals in best guesses, a consensus of opinion based on the most thorough investigation of the evidence at hand. Solid theories are science's closest attempt at a truth, and these theories change rapidly over time based on new knowledge. So perhaps there is no such thing as truth. There may be lies, half-truth, and everything in between. But if truth can change, and it can be subjective, then everything we call a fact is nothing more than a temporary truth. Number 2, what is right and wrong? If there are no truly objective truths, then are the concepts of right and wrong even valid? Everyone experiences the world through their own individual perspective, informed by your physical senses and how your brain interprets them. This is called qualia. The idea that everything you've experienced has been filtered through so many different processes that nobody could possibly hope to replicate it. However, there are certain experiences which are vaguely similar across most people, and it is these experiences which we use to form a general consensus within society of what is right and wrong. This is often based on what society thinks is best for our collective survival. But as with science and truth, these things change over time, as society in general becomes more aware of the experiences of others, and in turn develops new values and ideas. What the majority deems right or wrong today does not dictate its status forever. So if we can't define morality in this way, should we instead apply it subjectively? Number 1, am I free? If your actions are determined by your personality, and your personality is merely a set of actions based on your biological needs, then does free will even exist? Are all humans stuck on a single inescapable path from which no being, conscious or otherwise, can ever escape? If free will doesn't exist, then this proves a major stumbling block for our ideas of right and wrong. Because if nobody can control themselves, then nobody is capable of performing acts which are morally right or wrong. Something may be detrimental to society, or it might be harmful to the self, but the lack of free will destroys any idea of a universal notion of good and evil. Now, if free will does exist, and you can do as you please, then this also takes us down another rabbit hole. For example, we all hold our own personal values, but we often stray from them. So is it enough to say that so long as you behave in accordance with your own moral code, you are in the right? Certainly not, because murderers and sexual offenders may be so unhinged that they believe what they're doing to be right. But if your personal beliefs and actions can be affected by your psychological makeup, and this element of yourself is out of your control, even to a small degree, is it your fault if you murder someone when you had no choice in being born with a compulsion to kill? How far down the scale of culpability do we apply this idea? How damaged must someone be before responsibility for one's actions are absolved? This is where philosophy can become problematic. We have an innate belief that certain people are wrong and evil. But this is countered by neuroscientific and psychological studies into the human brain, which say that these people aren't bad. They're just different. They can be fixed. They can be made to fit in. So what kind of relationship do science and philosophy have? Do they contradict each other, or are they comfortable bedfellows? We're going to investigate this in our bonus video, What is Philosophy?, which you can watch on our Patreon page at patreon.com/strangemysteries. For a $2 a month pledge, which you can cancel at any time, you'll get to watch this and all our bonus content, which goes deeper and darker into every topic than YouTube allows. If you don't want to donate, then that's bullshit. We know you wanted more. Strange Mysteries on YouTube and our Patreon bonus videos weren't enough to quench your search for truth, to give you that sense of awe and wonder again, to go past what you thought was the end, to give you the answers you seek, but which only lead to more questions. That's why we just upped the stakes. Chemicals of reality. Reality, consciousness, brains. What else is there? Ask yourself that question. Perhaps that's all there really is, but perhaps everything else is found within a place where these ideas, these things, overlap. Some thing, some place that is undefinable. To many people, altering certain chemicals in their brains produces what they would simply call hallucinations. In fact, what we're going to discuss specifically used to be called the businessman's trip, as one could enjoy it. Come down and put your pants back on in the time it takes to eat lunch. It wasn't taken seriously, well, unless of course you started digging. And some people, including us, did. Already though, to many people, this chemical is special amongst others. Very special. To them it represents something more meaningful and incredible, as if it's the gateway to the next level of consciousness. The ticket to a higher reality barely explored by most humans. It is the entry point to a new reality, visited by only a select few, whose minds have become enlightened through the use of this exotic substance. For this reason, it's commonly referred to as the spirit molecule. But is its reputation as a mystical mind-opener deserved? Or is it, and everything it represents, just a load of bullshit? We look at, investigate, and dive deeply into nearly all available research regarding this question, from nearly every angle feasible. And in the course of doing so, stumble upon unexplainable patterns, correlations, and neurological evidence for a reality existing beyond this one. Watch this hour-long Strange Mysteries premium video, Chemicals of Reality, as well as many more to come by becoming an elite premium member of our Patreon at patreon.com/strangemysteries.